So, you want to know the secret to writing a best-selling YA or middle grade graphic novel? Well, I am going to tell you right now. And even though the information isn't particularly exciting, it is, hands down, going to be the absolute best or most worthless information you will receive today. It's like the question, how do you make a viral video? There actually is a formula. Make video, release video, tap into the zeitgeist, get lucky, and become a huge phenomenon. Well, the formula for a mega hit graphic novel is the same thing. Make graphic novel, publish graphic novel, tap into the zeitgeist, get lucky, and become a huge success. Not particularly helpful though, mostly because step 3 seems to be mostly luck. But there are some things that we can do to get ourselves into alignment and make that more of a possibility. So let's talk about those. I was recently listening to Ben Wilson on his podcast, How to Take Over the World, and he shares this story about luck. When he was in college, he was in an elevator when a very famous politician got in. Ben had nothing to say, to pitch, to offer, or ask. But to someone else, that happenstance meeting would have been their lucky career break. Some great up-and-coming political mover and shaker who just needed FaceTime with the right connection. So that elevator ride wasn't lucky for Ben, because he wasn't prepared. But for someone who was prepared, it would have been lucky. Ben talks about luck being an accumulation of tiny advantages, so that when something lucky does happen, you can take advantage. He closes with what he thinks the answer to finding success is. You work really hard, you make really good content, and luck will usually find its way to you at some point. This goes along with the adage, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So let's break this down with our focus, making comics. Preparation, you work really hard. So what does that look like? Well, first off, just plain hard work is generally not great. What you need is for the work to be focused and smart. Just putting in tons of hard work isn't the point. You need to seek to improve and elevate your craft. An artist who draws every day may see some improvement over time, but an artist who makes a concentrated effort to learn and understand anatomy, perspective, design will grow by leaps and bounds. Comics are story and art, so you have to get good at writing and drawing, or find a partner who does the thing that you don't. But for both crafts, you need to study story and storytelling. Take a graphic novel, book, movie, or whatever story you love and study it. Why does it connect with you? Is it the character, the story, the world? The intent, the meaning? What is it that hooked you? Why does it resonate? This is also helpful to do with stories that you don't like. Why did it fail? What didn't work for you? I guarantee you the person that made it wanted it to be great. No one sets out with the idea, oh, let me make something that everyone's gonna hate. So what would you have done differently? Is there a version of it you would have loved? Probably. There was a reason that you went and watched or read that thing in the first place. So now it's your turn to do the actual work. Create a short story and finish it. I hear a lot of creators give this advice, to make something short and finish it. It's because it's good advice. Making comics is hard. I mean, seriously, there are so many skill sets involved in creating a comic. So when I went to high school, I didn't go to a normal high school. I went to a vocational school, and the program that I went to was a commercial art program. It taught design and advertising, but there was a bunch of us in class that were super into comics, and that was kind of like, oh, here's a whole school that's focused on art, and we kind of tried to shoehorn our love of comic books into that, but that course was decidedly not about comics. But that didn't stop us from badgering the teacher, trying to make him give us assignments that were comic book related. Eventually he had enough and so was like,
okay, you want to make comics? Here's your assignment, go make a comic.
Well, all of us folded. Not a single one of us completed that assignment. The biggest talker among us, I don't think he completed a single page. I think maybe I ended up doing the most pages with like 7 or 8 pages, but even I didn't finish. It was supposed to be like 10 to 12 pages, and I didn't finish either, so comics are hard. I wish I still had those pages. I made up this ridiculous story about this D-list Marvel character named Speedball. I pitted him against Galactus, who's this godlike being who eats planets. So dumb. Anyway, I'd love to see what those pages look like now. So write and draw a 5-page comic. That's it. Don't do more than 5 pages. Just 5 pages tops. Finish it. When you finish that, you can move on to something a little bit longer, 10, 20 pages tops. The stakes are low and you are going to learn so much just from doing that. When you're done, you can put it online, print some up, share it with your friends, get some feedback. I just read the first volume of One Piece. I have since found out there are 109 volumes, 21,450 pages. But before all of that, creator Eiichiro Oda created a couple of one-shot comics. He'd later go on to redo those and adapt it into One Piece. But with those first couple of comics, he was able to complete and finish a project. That enabled him to get some wins and some experience without a ton of pressure. Yes, I'm sure you have a super awesome, mega epic, multi-volume story you want to tell, but start with something manageable. Get some wins and experience under your belt first before you tackle this monumental project. If you complete something, you will be ahead of 90% of other people out there. That is a stat I just made up. But regardless of what the actual number is, it's high. So do yourself a favor and be the part of the people that actually finish things. Don't set yourself up for disappointment and failure. Create something that you can complete in a reasonable amount of time. Get those wins. Some of the first comics I ever made were mini comics. I had them printed at a local copy shop and stapled and put them together myself. This is the first comic I ever had professionally printed. It's just 22 pages. And that 22 pages is made up of several 3 to 5 page stories. Each one is a complete self-contained story that was easy enough to finish without getting overwhelmed. Side note, print your comic. Even if it's a single copy just for you, there's an amazing feeling you get when you are holding your completed work in your hands. Seeing it online is just not the same. For my writers out there that don't draw but want to make comics, you would benefit greatly from drawing some pages from your own script. It doesn't matter how crappy it looks. Just do stick figures, it's fine. The idea is you'll get a better understanding of thinking visually and what can be communicated in a single panel and on a single page. Let's use the following example. Janet runs into the room looking everywhere for her phone. She finds it under a seat cushion. She grabs it triumphantly. She panics seeing 5 missed calls. That's at least 3 panels, and you could definitely use more to flesh it out and let it breathe. Quick thing, if you like videos about comics and creating them, please take 2 seconds and hit subscribe. It would be super helpful to me. Thanks, you're the best. Okay, let's get back to it. Make really good content. This step is gonna take a while, so you might as well start now. Your work is probably gonna stink at first, but that's okay. Go back to step 1, working hard. If you're doing focused work, you're gonna improve. Lousy will turn into less lousy, to okay, to good, to really good, to great, to undeniable. Oh, by the way, I'm just wearing my glasses for the rest of this thing. I'm tired of taking them on and off. You can see that hair fly away that I had. Anyway, glasses. So share your work. Share with your friends, share online, join a community, get feedback, develop relationships. This is one of the best parts of comics, the friendships and the relationships you build, the communities that you're a part of. Check out Kids Comics Unite. It's an online community and resource for comics creators. I'll put a link down below in the description. Hit up your local comic shop, see if they'll carry your work. Go to a convention. Even better, participate at a convention. Get a table in Artist Alley. Split the cost with a friend if you're an up-and-comer. It's really fun to sell your work and make new fans at shows, but one of the biggest benefits is meeting other professionals and up-and-comers like yourself. Make an effort to seek out like-minded creators. Buy their work, follow them on their socials. Do the after-hours stuff. Dinners, meetups, hangout. Haven't been invited to one? Start your own. Go around and invite people that are doing work in the same ballpark as you and invite them. Hey, a bunch of us are gonna go get dinner after the show. You should come. Cool, yeah, for sure. Thanks for the invite. The creator of Awesome Dog invited me to hang out. Work with the publisher. I've made a fair amount of comics over the years, all self-published. I got to a point though that I wanted to work with a book publisher. Now to be clear, working with a book publisher is by no means a guarantee that your work is gonna get noticed. But they do offer certain things that would be pretty difficult to do as a self-publisher. Most book publishers require an agent for work to be submitted to them, so I set out on the process of finding an agent. But to get an agent, you typically need a pitch with art to go along with it. I included an extra step where I wrote an entire manuscript for it. Not needed, but I went ahead and did that. I also went ahead and included a bunch of sample pages of art, which you will need. I then meticulously began finding and researching agents I thought might be a good fit. I used a spreadsheet to keep track of everything. I spent the year sending query letters out in manageable batches.
You've got mail.
I then spent the year getting rejection letters back in manageable batches. I set a deadline, 12 months to find an agent with this project. As the end of the year was approaching, I started working on a pitch for a new project where I would start the process all over again. While I very much believed in Woodland Hills, maybe the timing wasn't right. So that October, I participated in a Twitter pitch fest and didn't put a whole lot of stock into it. But, couldn't hurt to try, so why not? After almost an entire year of me pursuing agents with zero success, I then had several agents from the pitch fest reach out to me and ask to see more work. I wasn't even a big Twitter user. It was luck that I was on there that day and that the pitch fest just happened to show up in my feed. But preparation and opportunity. That Twitter pitch fest turned out to be my elevator ride. When several agents got on, I was ready. And that's how I connected with the person that would become my agent. We would go on to sell Woodland Hills as a series to a publisher. It was all really super exciting stuff. Unfortunately, that all fell apart when the publisher restructured and dropped me and a bunch of other authors. But that's a story for another time. So, possibly like you, I am back at step 1. Make graphic novel. And then, step 2, publish graphic novel. Tap into the zeitgeist, get lucky, and become a huge success. Woohoo! The final thing I will say about step 3 is do the thing that you're excited about. Don't try to recreate the current hot thing. It'll just be a cheap imitation, and readers are going to see right through that. When Raina Telgemeier wrote Smile, there was no one asking for graphic novels about kids and their personal struggles. That was simply the story that she was excited to tell. She'd been working on it for years, updating her website with episodes of it, selling mini comics at conventions. Was there luck involved? Absolutely, but she was ready for it. And when Smile did come out, it changed publishing. Do what you love, do it well, and create your own luck. You've got this. Now let's go make some comics. If you found any of this interesting or insightful, I would love it if you'd subscribe. Thanks. You're the best. Wow.